This conference will now be recorded.
I always want to start it right now. 5:59. I'm waiting on it. I got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we do not have any amendments to the agenda, so I just need approval of the adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Review the minutes from the December 7th regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Mr. Kevin.
Right, just a couple things. We've got the Schumacher's excavating there at the very top for the pay request number 9. And then there was the mower purchase for the, where was this one? I had it highlighted.
716.
Yeah, 716 there. And then just the other, the WHKS for the various ongoing aspects for the Jefferson Mill, 9th Street beacons going on there. So I would make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the total of $998,132.71.
I'll second that.
Any questions for Kevin or Kim? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kevin.
Let me jump in there on one thing with this. Remind me, you guys have to sign this now before you leave. I might forget.
I noticed that's just.
Does
Yeah.
all council?
Is that what the new
Just
system
one?
did? No,
Yeah.
the reviewer and the mayor.
Just,
Okay.
yep, Kevin, the
So
mayor.
Kevin and I, whoever does it each month. Perfect.
So don't forget that.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll open the public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 2 minutes. Any public comments? Any public comments? We'll close that portion and we will jump down to 7A, unfinished business, resolution 2023-21 of 2024 final budget. KIM.
I have a couple things that kind of dovetail in with the budget. So I have a couple things that kind of dovetail in with the budget. Mostly as you approve the budget, you approve the levy, of course, if you so choose tonight, which I assume will, because it is less than what we originally set into our levy in September, which I'm happy about. We did have some unknowns at that time. So we had raised our levy, anticipating that we had unknowns, hoping we could bring it back down, and we were able to bring it back down. Because remember, you can't go lower after September. So this is actually Michael Bolton from Wanamingo put together most of this slide, but it shows the cities in our area, the population, proposed levy, per capita levy, tax rates for 2024 and 23. And I have mine flopped around. I just realized now. Sombrota should be 47.94 in 2024 and 49.40 in 2023. Actually went down, our tax rate went down a little bit. And then we have all the water and sewer rates and what's put on people's utility bills. As you can see, our utility bill is, I believe, the lowest. That's proposed with a 3% water increase for next year and a 4% sewer increase.
Yep, and you'll see those increases in the fee schedule when we get to that.
But that's also calculated into our budget, so I wanted to make you aware of what we had calculated into the budget. Again, we're trying to keep even as we go to pursue the sanitary district, we are still going to need to update and keep our infrastructure in the ground that goes to the new sewer plant healthy. So we will need to continue to have some kind of fee for that to keep it going.
Could you send that to me when you remember, email it to me, please?
I'd love
I'll
to,
send
I'd
it to all
love
of
to,
you.
yeah, I'd love to have
Certainly.
that
Yep.
information.
I'll do it before I leave tonight.
Thanks, Kim.
Just good to have, because we do get questions from the public. You're raising the rates, you're raising the rates. We say, hey, we're one of the lowest, if not the lowest in that.
And I'll flip the tax rate around too, so you have the right tax rate.
Perfect. Is that all you got?
That's all I got, because you
Perfect.
guys have any questions,
Should we need to vote on the budget on this one right now?
Yes, yep, and I have to get it in the county.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023, 21, 24 final budget levy.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. I just want to thank council and especially Kim and the rest of the department heads for working hard on the budget like we do every year. And when do we start? May, June? So a couple more months, we'll start on 2025. 8A, new business fee schedule discussion and set public hearings. Brian.
Yes, so you've got a copy of the 2024 proposed fee schedule just for your review. And then we want to set the public hearing for the first meeting in January at 6:05. But just some of the changes on here, we added a couple today. We had to change the non-sufficient check fee from 35 to 30. Evidently that's in the statute somewhere where it's got to be $30, not 35. So we had to change that. And the street lighting fee increased from $2.25 to $3. That was part of the Ehlers study that recommended the increase. Correct, Kim?
I think that was the storm that increased.
Oh, the storm. Yeah, the storm. My bad. I did fix it on the sheet, I think. Well, not yours. I fixed it on the paper sheet. So that's why I wanted to call that to you guys' attention. That there's a couple more changes. Yeah, the stormwater fee went to $3. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Kim. Go ahead.
Just to put it in your head so you remember that with our capital improvement plan, it's noted that we are not adequately funding our stormwater needs. So that stormwater fee will need to continue to increase so that we will see it. But we thought rather than just take a huge jump, it would be more prudent to go up gradually.
Yep, the water and sewer rates reflect the percentages talked about, 3% and 4%. We changed some of the park and pool, wording, went from permanent campsites to seasonal campsites because that's really what they are. They're not permanent, they move them off. That's something we've talked about for a couple of years, and finally we caught up to that and got that change made. The shelter fee went from $125 to $150. Of course, as you know, new bathroom up there. We've got a sink inside the building now, so spent quite a bit of money on new amenities up there. So I think a little increase in the fee is warranted on that. And then a little increase, $30 to $35 on electric water sites, and that's to be a little closer to the market on those sites.
So we just need a motion to set the public hearing for January 4th at 6:05, correct?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Brian.
Can we just open it? I'm just going to bring up again, I think that the edible cannabinoid license is way too high for the products that.
And we'll see that later too. Everybody's renewing, and there's a couple more applicants, so.
I mean, for the amount of, so this is what I'm thinking about. So I have, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 SKUs of liquor, and I'll have probably less than 100 of that. So that's, you know what I mean? It's just that difference. It's just so humongous.
Can we set it up if you're a liquor store and sell it? That's not your main priority. We have two different licenses.
That's what I'm wondering if we could discuss. And I know I can't vote on it, but I'm just wondering about that because we're already selling responsibly.
Yeah, that's something we can
We're
look
not-
into.
And that's not our whole store. Could
So
be,
you'd like-
I'm wondering about that. So I don't know how anyone else feels about it, but I just know it affects me because I can't justify
$4,600.
right for something that is, I'm gonna have, a couple, it won't even be 100 SKUs, it'll be maybe 25 SKUs.
I mean, maybe,
So-
can we set it up a license, do a liquor off sale / cannibal is say 3,000.
Something like
If
that.
it's just liquor, it's
Right.
23. If it's just cannabis, it's
Yeah.
23.
This will be the last year of the cannabinoid one, because in 2025, the board is supposed to be set up, and then they're going to handle all the fees.
Sure.
Uh,
I'm just bringing it up, so
Is
if.
that the state that's gonna tell you, they'll tell us what the fee would be for,
Yep, we can charge a minimal, I can't remember what the wording was. We can't license, we can authorize, that's not the right word.
But is that going to
We
be
can charge a
the
small fee for processing, but that's it. And then if we have 2 in town or 3 or 1, then we would get a percentage of the fees from the state. But the state sets the fees, the state charges the fees, they
I
pay
don't
the
know
state.
what they're gonna charge, maybe it's not out of line, but
Yeah,
it
I
just
don't know.
seems a ton of money for,
We picked a lower one from what we saw everywhere else. There were lower ones than this, but we went lower end when we proposed this last year. Some of them are huge, like 5 times this, and other ones are lower. But, this is the last year. We did get renewals. Nobody said anything. We'll ask you to approve a couple renewals later on here.
right, but I just heard that they were saying that it wasn't even worth it hardly to have it because it was so high. That's what I heard.
Yep.
But,
Yeah, and we can do a little more work on that before the 4th and come back with some sort of a proposal, maybe along the lines of what you're saying. I think they've already paid for all of these.
It's not a problem, I guess. I
Maybe
can't see
ride it
me
out.
I can't even see me selling hardly that much in a
You'd
year.
be surprised.
But I suppose you'd be
Yeah.
surprised, but.
I think there's a lot of sales. And it's just one more year, and then we will lose the ability.
Right,
So
okay,
it'll change in 2025 if they get the board set up.
okay.
I guess that's the way I would leave it as is. If we're gonna redo this in a year and then they're gonna mandate or state what we have.
Sure.
Leave it as is.
It just, as I was thinking about it, I'm going, I have, all, my liquor is my main, you know what I mean? And then I'm gonna pay the same amount for this, shelf that's gonna have 10 things on it. It just seems crazy to me. No, because I, no,
yeah,
I'm not gonna pay $2,300 for it, I don't think. I don't know, I'll have to talk to Barney, but anyway. It just seems oddly disproportionate to what it is. If that was your whole store, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
I mean,
So-
does that make sense to you? But if it's, yeah, anyway.
Nope.
That was my only thing.
I think that if you're selling liquor, you do that, it should be, like you said, $3,000, $3,500 to sell both. If you just sell one or the other, then it's $2,300. That's kind of the way I would lean on that, but
That makes sense to me, but,
we'll discuss that next week more,
okay.
next month. Perfect. 8B, CETA contract. Curtis?
Yes, so in looking at, part of the way we were paying for that extra 2 days that I had requested was permit fees. We had really good, we had 35 houses 2 years ago, 19 last year, something like that. So we're bringing in a lot of permit fees. We had some fees there to pay for this extra 2 days. And when Dylan was on his way out, when he was here and then on his way out, things were just booming with zoning reviews. Permitting takes quite a bit of time. And so he was finding he didn't have time for the planning and the other aspect, the EDA aspects of the job. And so that's why we asked for the 2 extra days. Well, since then, things have slowed down substantially on that side of things. I spoke with Kurt and he agreed that, yeah, he's got some extra time and he can probably do this work as well. So I didn't think it was a good idea to keep spending the extra. It's an extra about $32,000 a year. When we can get that that work done, and you know, there's some extra time now. Now it could change again if permits, you know, if the mortgage rates go down and permits start going up again. You know, we could be back in the same boat. But for now, you know, the beauty of CETA, we can mix and match and do what we need to do. So I'm just recommending going back to the 5 days. I talked to Ron Ziegler. He gave me the proposal of $104,825 for the 5 days. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to approve. Minera was the 2-day person. Now it'll be up to CETA and we'll work with them as to if they mix and match a little bit to keep Minera here for a day or 2 and Kurt somewhere else. They like to do some of that stuff to get them different exposure and, you know, and they learn from other areas that way too, which is good, which helps us. So we'll work with them on that. But what it'll come down to is we'll just have the 5 days. Not the 7 days. Another part of that can come into this is when we get to the building inspections contract, we're gonna have an opportunity to go to online permitting. And there'll be the ability for citizens and permit applicants to log in and check their permit, where it's at, and submit, which is gonna take a tremendous amount of work off city staff, you know, Kurt and Miranda. Kim's the line of fire up in the front once in a while too, so. But, so that, I just think it makes sense to go back to the 5 days.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the CETA contract.
Oh, go ahead.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0.
I was just gonna say, Monica, you wanna hang around for the whole meeting or should I ask to move the parking up?
That would be awesome.
Okay, I was thinking, shoot, I should have put that way at the top. It didn't even
That would be
occur to me.
awesome.
But yeah, would it be okay moving the Jefferson parking
Now we'll
now?
jump down to 8J. Let's discuss Jefferson parking. Mr. Burnham again.
Yes, so there is not a lot of science to this. I talked to Bill, well, there's not a lot of engineering as far as the parking, other than the fact that they're of the opinion that it's traffic calming. So they recommend parking on at least one side. So what I did was put together, you know, what you see in your packet. So starting with First to Fifth Street, I kind of put it together, and again, this is, you know, council decision. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have a horse in the game on which side we're on, but I tried to say, okay, well, if we put the parking on the west side, you know, that's where it's being used. It has been, you know, there was never parking there, but that's where there were cars parking, kind of off to the side. You know, we've got Monica's up here, and then the Donovan's there is where the piano lessons happen. So there's lots of cars in and out of their parking. So that's why I thought, okay, you know, from there and then part way down to First Street, not all the way. And then we wanted to not have any parking from Fourth to Fifth because trucks are going to be turning there. They're, you know, they're not coming in this way, they're just going out. The other reason parking over here makes sense to me is that's the side the trucks traverse. So they're going to have to slow down because the cars are over there. So that's basically again, there's no science behind it. And I asked Bill just to see if there was any engineering that I need to be aware of, and he said, nope. Whoops. Did I lose one?
No, that continues on from Fifth there. Oh, no, you're on the wrong sheet. Yeah, you missed one. Oh, went right by it. Yep.
Come on. Ah, there we go. All right. And then starting at Fifth Street, there's no houses along that whole side, and you're getting up to the corner. So, well, that's just, and I discussed this with the staff too. We had a staff meeting and got everybody's thoughts, and we thought, well, there's no reason for parking there. Plus, you're turning right there. So I started up where the townhomes start, because people do park there quite often, or they used to. They're parked all over the place there. And I just ran it all the way up that side. Goes right past my house and down here. I've never seen anybody park out here unless there's a graduation or something. So it really doesn't matter which side, but we would like one side just to slow things down if there is parking out there. Now watch it go. I can't go two sheets because the next one's the last one. Well, I got to go to a different one for the last one. But from Mill Street down to Jefferson Heights, the Stensons were the other ones that asked about parking and all of that. So again, possible use, that makes the most sense there. Plus, I had it stopping short before. Remember, Bill had kind of talked, and we had kind of talked about stopping it at the river, and then having no parking the rest of the way. Through discussions with staff, we kind of said, okay, well, maybe we should run it all the way down, because then there might be an opportunity for funeral home parking along the road, to just walk down the trail. And then there's also people that park there to go to the baseball fields, and whether or not they're supposed to be walking through Jefferson Heights or not, they do. So it kind of made sense to have parking on that side there, and then no parking from the ambulance garage on either side all the way down to Main Street, because fire trucks coming out, ambulances coming out, and then once you get down here, you're into the turning lane. So that was the thinking on that one. Now, I had to go to a different one to get the dang thing rotated. And then, then we get up past Main Street all the way up to Dorothea. And I don't know, that's one of the places we get the most complaints about speeding. So it seems like we should have parking on one side. Whether anybody parks there or not, I don't know. Hopefully somebody will from time to time to slow things down. But again, it made sense to have it on the church side because it could get used there. There's once or twice a year where there's big stuff going on. Ruby's uses that side. They don't necessarily park there. They pull up and sit and wait. But, we got past that was discussions with staff too. We said we should get past the Quick Trip exit there, because trucks take up that whole road when they exit and go that way. So anyway, that's the proposal. There's, it's up to you guys what you want to do, where you want parking, if but this just kind of made sense as far as use goes.
My only opinion on this, everything on the west side of Main Street, I'm okay with. On the east side of Main Street, I would either have no parking at all, or have the parking on the other side, on the trailer court side versus the other side of the thing. It's because the walking path is technically on this, what we have no parking. That's kind of what we stuck to. So I would either switch if we want parking on the east side of Main Street, that we do it on the trailer court for people don't have to cross Jefferson when they're parking, or do no parking at all.
Everywhere else it does follow the
path, and there we don't. And so if you park there, they're using it from the trailer court to 18th Street, they got to walk across Jefferson. And once you get up here to Lloyd's, I don't think the churches would use that to walk down to the church on a big service or whatever. So that would be my only opinion. I think on the west side, I think we need to do that just because it slows the traffic down. And I like it on the path. On the east side, we either switch sides and do it, or do no
walking
parking.
trails on the trailer park side?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, that makes more sense
Yeah.
to have a park in there then.
so my opinion would be to switch it on the east side, on the walking path side, where we could kind of have a rhyme, hey, you can park on the walking path side. Pretty much the whole Jefferson, except for obviously Zumbrota forward to the fire department. That would be my only suggestion of change on everything that I've seen on here. Either do no parking on the east side of Main Street or switch the parking to the trailer court side, would be my opinion, unless you guys have, as city staff, a different opinion of why you put it over there versus.
I would agree with that, especially Brian mentioning Ruby's Pantry. If they have that and somebody decides to park there, how do they, because he could legally park there, then where does their traffic route to?
Any of you guys have comments?
And not related to that, I guess, that's back to the truck route. You said that trucks won't be coming in on Fifth.
Yep, the discussion we had with council was there's no reason to bring them in off of 52 down that way because they can go down and take a right at DFA.
But that's not, I mean, it was just designated as a truck route. So I guess my point is if you're gonna limit them from coming in, you're gonna have to have signage out further.
We still have a sign up there that says not,
But by the time they get to that sign, they're already into where well house number 3 is. You gotta get, the only traffic I would really see coming in that way would be any trucks that would come in off from 60. You're not gonna get trucks coming up 52 and turning to go that way, but you're gonna have trucks coming from 60. Those signs are gone, just based on the fact that that was designated as a truck route. And plus, the other thing about it is, I think where your trucks run into problems with is GPSs. They're not gonna tell them it's a one-way truck route, I guess is my point, you know?
But I think most people that are coming in to do DFA or Comcast, a lot of them have already been there, so they're gonna go to Covered Bridge exit anyway, just because it's quicker.
That's what I'm saying. But you are gonna have an occasional truck come from, straight off from 60.
Already. Yeah, we do already, so I mean, I guess that would be,
yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's fine.
what, I mean, I guess I didn't understand.
Both ways. But we're not encouraging people to come in that, trucks to come in that way, but the signs are gone. Because it's a truck route.
By the time they get in there, the signs aren't until you get past the ramps and stuff. You know,
We used to have one at the top of the ramp. I thought we had one at the top of the ramp.
There was one on 6th Street or on 5th
Right at
Street.
that 9th Avenue there.
right, that's where that's up just from the well house is where that sign was. So if it's gonna be just a one-way truck route, I think we gotta rethink our signage I guess is what I'm saying.
And nobody's gonna come in that way anyway if they're going to DFA, because they don't wanna go through town if they don't have to. They can take a right down there.
Well, I
Or
mean,
Comcast.
and like you said, I don't know if you guys have read this, the police department did a survey for 12 hours, and I mean, so obviously the traffic is, the truck route is not as popular as much as we thought, because there was 100 trucks out there thrown out there, and police department only surveyed 48, so it's not being as used as much as that we thought, so. Was the highest speed, do you know that, chief? It was 38. Was that a car or was that a truck? Do you know?
It would likely have been a truck.
Okay. Because that's what they were looking for?
We weren't monitoring passenger cars.
Okay.
Not that we weren't documenting passenger
Yeah.
cars in that. The specific was trucks that would be likely going to DFA, any type of box truck, commercial truck. Just not the F-250, F-350 type.
Right. Okay.
So do we, I mean,
I would think we wanna do a motion as amended or whatever.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended parking except for on the east side to switch it to the other side. Correct?
Second.
And I think we're all in a thing that we would start the parking basically right there at Abbey Lane,
Mhm.
which is just past Quick Trip there.
Mhm.
Perfect.
For now, we want to remove those no parking signs. We have to accommodate this.
Yeah, we'll just take the no parking signs out on those stretches on that side of the road.
Can we,
That's what sign is no parking and not like a parking sign? I'm not making.
Currently, it's all posted as no
No
parking.
parking.
The whole.
So then we
both
pull up
sides.
where the no parking is, and then the assumption is that they can park in this.
I think we better make an announcement about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put something out.
Yeah, so that people.
We'll put a push out on our system too, as well. But,
So we have a motion and a second to keep everything the same except for on the east side, flop it. Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0.
we're gonna have a bunch of extra parking signs now, no parking signs.
8, go ahead. As
No?
soon as they get the signs down. So, I mean, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but I think Mike said he's gonna leave yours up till January 10th. No, I'm joking. If the sign, I mean, I would be okay if the signs are still up there, you were here, if they
Yeah.
want to park there. I think the PD knows,
So,
so.
unless, I mean, other than winter parking,
Right,
you know, but
That's a great point, Pat. Yeah, that's the other thing we need to make abundantly clear, that the winter parking rules apply to this road as well. So
Yeah.
don't think you can park out there in the winter, and if there's snow.
The whole street's lined during
Yeah.
a snowstorm.
Everyone's.
Perfect. 8C, building inspection contract. Brian again.
Yes, so Roger and Casey sold their business partway through the year. We had a change to CMS. Now I had a history with CMS, with being in the code business. Jay Kruger was one of the owners. I've known him since 2003, and I thought, okay, good, somebody I know. Seems they grew a little bit quicker than they expected, and they had some struggles. So some of the area community started looking around, and this MinSpec put together a meeting for a bunch of area communities. And during that meeting, they presented a lot of good stuff, including basically lower fees than what we're being offered with CMS. Online permitting as part of the package. CMS is asking for $200 a month to participate in their online permitting. MinSpec is requesting that we increase our fees, but only incrementally. Right now, all of our small communities around us, we're so far behind on our fee schedules. They want to increase, or they're requesting to increase to the 1988 UBC. Now, I think the code that's in effect now must be the 2019 code. And so that's how far everybody's behind. So CMS is proposing catching that up all at once, which results in 200% increase, 300% increases in some instances, which is fine. That's where it is going to be at some point in the future. But as communities, we kind of like MinSpec's approach to that, in increasing incrementally. And just overall, their permit fee schedule is much closer to what we had with the original contract with Roger and Casey Paul and Tom Thompson. The prospecting, being able to go to this online permitting with the portal that permit applicants can check their own status. They can submit online, check their own status. We're going to have, it's possible we have very little contact at City Hall for any of that. It's still the same 80-20 fee structure, where they take 80% of the permit fees and we get 20% to pay for our administrative time that is involved with some of the permitting things we still have to do, and zoning, things like that. No, I didn't get a number from Goodhue County, but I saw the numbers from Pine Island Pine Island just approved MinSpec on Tuesday. And I looked at the memos and stuff, and they had numbers from Goodhue County. It was substantially higher fees and closer to CMS, maybe a little higher. So I didn't get a number from Goodhue County. But I did have a good conversation with MinSpec. I also know them. Scott Qualley was the owner of MinSpec, and he sold his company to Safe Built, but he still runs the MinSpec. Safe Built is a national company, which is why they can absorb some of the fees associated with the online permitting much easier than a smaller company. They have someone out of south of Egan, I think, lined up to do the inspections down this way. They are hoping to have 6 approvals within the next couple of weeks. So they would have 6 communities in this area, at which point then they're going to kick in the hiring process and finding a presence here somewhere in the area, a little closer. But otherwise, they're out of the cities right now. It's tough because I've known Jay, owner of CMS, for years, and so it's tough to move, but I think this is the right thing for Zumbrota, and there's other communities that have looked at the same thing and are going that way as well. So recommendation is to move forward with MinSpec. We have to give a 60-day notice to CMS. March 1st would be the proposed start date for MinSpec.
Say, Brian, I got a question.
Yep.
Just because a couple of things get brought up once in a while. You said more hands-off for staff. But will they still run those plans?
Sure.
Just because of the other day, Kurt threw that one on my desk and there was an easement. Now, will they be able to find easements when they're going through this?
So we're still going to. So we will say, I should clarify. So within the permitting software, there are milestones that have to be checked off. So we will still have that part of it, and it'll be more of a catch. We won't be able to miss a site plan review or a zoning review or any of that, because you have to go in. We would have to go in and actually sign off in there before it goes to the next step. So yeah, no, we'll have full awareness of everything that comes in and all of that. We just won't be spending the time fielding the calls of, hey, where's my permit, and making a call and waiting for a call back, or sending an email, waiting for an email back saying we can't find it, or it's still 2 weeks out, or whatever. It'll all be online. But yes, no, a good point, Mike. And that's one of the things I'm excited about too, is the ability to have those milestone and check off points, because with a contract community development planning person, sometimes in the transition, and with me being relatively new when all this happened too, I haven't done a site plan review or anything like that, and neither has Kurt, because we haven't had big commercial. And so if we have a program like this, it's going to be an actual check off and a guideline. So I like that. Rochester was going to a permitting system just like this. Back when I left, I think I left the day they went live. So I never got to use it, but it was very sophisticated and very, the checkoffs are wonderful to avoid any mistakes. And I should say, CMS, with their fee structure, they're trying to point the fees towards where the labor is, rather than, I think they said, rather than burying it in the permit fees. But the permit fees are a lot higher too than MinSpec. So, I mean, their heart is in the right place, and they're going to be great. They're just growing. And, for now, I think moving on to MinSpec and seeing how that works and what they have up to offer is the way to go, especially since, we won't be the Lone Ranger down here. They're not just going to cater to us. They're going to have a good presence down here the way it looks.
Is there a minimum length of contract that's signed?
No, it's a 1 year and then renewable with the notice of non-renewal, basically. Yep. And we're still in effect. The contract we had with Southeast Building Inspections, which was Roger and Casey, that's in effect through 2024. But CMS was proposing to give us the notice to go with a new contract structure because of their fee structure and all that stuff. So,
Okay, so you want a motion to say you would like us to approve Minspect?
yep,
Okay,
effective March 1st.
okay, done.
Are you making a motion?
I did.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Brian. Cigarettes and tobacco license renewal, you'll see it on Miranda's sheet. Both Casey's, Quick Trip, Guilty Goose, Speedway, Family Dollar, Zumbrota Taco, or Zumbrota Tobacco.
Taco.
I'm hungry, you know.
You know
I
what?
like tacos.
You know what, on the renewals, oh yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, because they had one, okay.
We're good, so we're gonna just vote or motion on all these at one time and do it separate.
Because they're renewals.
'Cause they're
We're going to ask for separate motions
on
on
the
the
new
new
one
ones.
coming up.
I'll make that motion to approve them.
All in one. I'll
Second.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain? Sarah, so it passes 401. We'll jump down to 8E, the cannabinoid license renewals, which is the only one we have, or the only two we have is Bridget's and,
No, not Bridges, Cover Bridge.
or Covered Bridge. Yeah, I just saw the P, so it's gotta be Bridget. No. And Speedway.
I can make a motion for that.
Perfect. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. The next one is Zumbrota Tobacco Cannabinoid License. That's a new license, which is the new cannabinoid, so we just need to vote on that one.
I'll make a motion to approve Zumbrota Tobacco Cannabinoid license.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Nielsen's liquor license. We need to vote on that one because it's a new liquor license.
Make a motion to approve.
Grand tobacco, right?
I think they have to do it
Yes.
separate.
No, it's yeah, liquor and cigarette and tobacco. I think she put all this on one.
I would think you'd have to do it separately, but
Did I think I separated them on the agenda, didn't I?
Yeah, you did on agenda.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's do the liquor license first.
I'll make that motion
I'll
to
second
approve.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. 8H Nielsen Cigarette and Tobacco License. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Let's jump to 8I Earned Sick and Safe Time Personnel. Brian, you want this one or just Kim?
Yeah, I'll start with this one. I'll ask him to help me out though. The new earned sick and safe time, ESST. This was mandated by state statute coming out of the last legislative session. The long story short is we have a PTO policy that offers more than what is required by the ESST. So we were only required to wrap the ESST language in because of the expanded use of ESST as opposed to a normal PTO policy. Ours was pretty open anyway. Ours basically said whatever you need it for. But by law, we need to put it in here and have it articulated. So that's what we did. There's some language in here about part-time that they will accrue 1 hour for every 30 hours, up to 80 hours, and that will be, Kim, lifeguards, the
It'd be
people at
permanent
Lund.
part-time library, our guys that mow in the summer and our lifeguards. They're really the only ones that usually get to 80 hours. Police part-time is always questionable because they don't necessarily work enough hours to qualify within a year. So
And those will not carry over because unless they come back within 180 days, it doesn't carry over. If they do, we have to reinstate whatever was earned. So we'll muddle through that. Kim's been working with the timekeeping system, Civic, to build it in. and the tracking. We also have to provide notification to all of the employees about ESST. And there's a standard letter for that. I think James already maybe sent yours out. So we will get that out by the first of the year to all the staff. So I guess the motion would be to adopt the ESST language into our
The revised personnel
policy. Yep. Or I think adopt the ESST language is something that we should say.
I'll move what Brian said. That was a lot of ESTs. A little bit of a mouthful.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. 8K 2024 Dairy Concept Discharge Permit. Mike?
So I included the permit along with this memo, but basically everything was staying the same this year with just the changes in a 4% increase for the sewer rates based on Ellers. And the BOD and TSS rates were set accordingly also, and a new volumetric rate per 1,000 gallons. And to cover the 350,000 gallons, there was the base increase fee will cover the 350,000 gallons of discharge, and those are charged under the new rates as well. So pretty straightforward, and then just the minor dates and stuff that were changed.
Yep, and just before the meeting, we did get comments back from DFA. And their legal actually caught something that needed to be changed. On page 6, both letter Fs should say 80 mg, not 100. I talked to Bill just before the meeting here because Terry had called and said, hey, I've got some revisions from and most of them were grammatical but this one was an impactful one.
Is that what it has been, is 80 and not 100?
That's what Bill said. That's what it was in the last one.
So I think that was changed from the last one before that.
Yeah.
Just working with them on this new plant when they got this put in, so.
Yep. And somehow the one we sent them still had 100 in it and they
Yeah.
caught it. So
So it was 100, it changed to 80 last year, the year before.
yeah, otherwise minimal changes and they've reviewed it and they're good.
And I guess we're required to have that permit with them as an industrial user. And the grammatical stuff isn't a big deal, but we've had this for years, that same format. I mean, it's a pretty old format. As long as I've been here, I've seen that format. So it seems like it works pretty good.
And that's what Terry said too. He said the legal team kind of reworded things, but they said the same thing. So Terry said, just leave it alone. So, okay, good.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Mike. 8L, new hire officer Zachary Cameron. Police chief.
So we offered Mr. Cameron, I got too many of those cars, a final offer. Everything came back good on him. So I've been getting things underway and set up and lined up so that when he can start on the January 2nd, we'll be able to just start moving ahead. So we're excited, he's excited, and I think he's going to be a good fit. And with that, we got Tony had gone through the field training officer training, convinced Shannon to do the same. And I asked Tyler if he would be considering that. He said, yeah, I'd be happy to be part of that. Ideally, if you could have 3 people train a person like this that needs full training, because it's going to be about 3 to 4 months worth of training, 3 FTOs is what's recommended, 3 different people. So we're going to be able to accommodate that. And I think that's going to give him a well-rounded process, so. But yeah, we're just looking for your stamp of approval on this final offer.
If the first meeting he can come to, we'd sure like to meet him.
I think you will be able to, because I'll be with him that whole week, so.
Well, we'll make them be here so you guys can meet them. Well, Bob's met them, right? Yeah, but for the other three, council and the other department heads, that'd be good, so.
Wonderful.
I'll make that motion to approve Zach.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Mobile radio purchase, Mr. Chief again.
So I put in a request to purchase another mobile radio. We did have one for the car that never showed up. And we're going to need to make sure that all our cruisers are set up with this specific model. We currently are operating 2 vehicles with this model, and we are operating 2 vehicles without this model. And those 2 that are operating without, those are not encryptable. So the county made a decision. They're going to change their process to go to 1 main. They've had 2. Red Wings had their own with Prairie Island, and then everybody else was on the main channel 1. They're going to go to 1, and they are going to go to encryption sometime next year. It's not going to be right away. I need to be ready for that so we can actually communicate. So, and ultimately, hopefully we'll find a vehicle to put the other radio in. So we're working with options on that. So more to come on that, but it's an expensive piece of equipment.
Got to be able to talk to the county. So.
Very necessary.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve that purchase.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Chief. Reports, Mr. Grudem.
Yes, Mike and I had a year-end summary with Safe Step, our sidewalk people that did the saw cutting. They brought a lot of the downtown area into compliance as far as the accessibility codes with the getting rid of all those lips. They fixed 43 areas and then identified another 4 for replacement. We didn't do replacements this year. Got a bunch of sidewalk work coming up next year. Maybe we can do. I know there was an area out in front of your place that we had talked about. So we'll see what we can squeeze in this next year. So we spent $5,600 this year. We were slating 10,000 because of the replacements. We are responsible for the replacements. They do the saw cutting and then identify. So basically they're out there doing the whole study on our sidewalk system and saying, okay, you know, these areas are eligible for replacement. And mostly that's because it's linear cracks or half moon cracks or just
Mine's
gone.
like this.
Yeah.
How's that go again?
So I'm going to be pulling the sidewalk committee back together. That's Bob and Sarah, right? Assuming you're still a sidewalk committee in 2024, that you want to be.
It's really exciting.
Yeah,
Someone
well,
else wants to be on
It
it.
started off with a flurry and then it kind of petered out, but we're going to get back together and talk about the 2024. I also need to sit down with Kim and Mike and go through the sidewalk budget, look at what's slated already and how those dollars are going to shake out. But we would like to get some more areas repaired, maybe the stretch down towards the Covered Bridge Park, across the bridge, because they're pretty terrible spots. But we'll discuss that as a committee and bring back a recommendation. We were bringing Millen's 6th Street reconstruction request for bids to the January 4th meeting. We're also going to set a staff meeting. It's not really it's a public meeting, but it's not really a posted, you know, like we did for Jefferson. Basically, WHKS is here, staff is here, do a little presentation on what we're going to do, send letters to the people abutting, but it will be posted and that way we can answer questions ahead of time. We think it's important on this pretty high profile road, Mill Street for sure. So having a meeting to invite at least the people that are directly affected, plus whoever else wants to come and ask questions. We'll set that for Wednesday, February 7th is what we're looking for. We finished up the file migration today. We are officially off the server. Thanks to James for his technical expertise. He knows the techie language. I almost fell asleep at one point when him and the other guy were talking.
Just once?
There were some bumps, of course. Kim was about ready to leave, but she's okay. Kim's got the most complicated systems with the Civic, and the communication got a little bit goofy there between the systems. But Ken, our engineer, did a nice job and stayed with us and ironed everything out. Got our printing working, most of our scanning working. We're still working on Mike's and Kurt's, but yeah, so we're off the server. We don't have to worry about that thing dying on us. And it's going to simplify quite a bit of the technology as we move forward into asking to be allowed to do an RFP process for a managed provider. Because one thing we realized was, yeah, that's critical, because we have so many different things going on that, you know, this company installed and that company installed, but nobody knows exactly everything, how it fits together and talks to each other. And in some cases, it makes no sense, especially on the police side. So still working on our contact from the League of Minnesota Cities. He was doing an RFP for us. I'm trying to get it. So hopefully we'll have it soon and be requesting for you to allow us to go out for bids on managed IT service early next year. Other than that, just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Perfect, thanks,
Right,
Brian.
big thanks to Miranda for the tree and the
Yeah, it looks
decorations.
Perfect.
Chief?
Merry Christmas.
You too. Matt? James? Kim? Mike? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Meeting adjourned. Sign that paper. Kevin, come and sign that paper.